everybody, welcome to another video. This is Zeno Listen here, and today we're going to be listening. I'm not sure which kind of category this video would fall under, but we're going to be watching this video by Mr. Was it Mr. Nightmare or what was it? Yeah, Mr. Nightmare. Now, he basically makes videos detailing that are basically kind of like r/slash videos, right? But they're for scary things. I mean, some r/slash situations are kind of scary, like r/slash nuclear revenge kind of thing. But what I mean by legitimately scary, like these are just strange happenings, weird animals, weird noises happening in the house, with like all this kind of stuff and all their stories and little details. And this one in particular is about sleep paralysis stories. And oh boy, do I have some to tell you after this video. So, stay to the end to hear some of my stories with sleep paralysis. But first, let's hear what these people have to say. To make sure the volume's turned to the right volume. There we go, okay. Let's do this. Probably not going to be able to sleep tonight. It's also 11 of where I am, so this is late night.
Has anyone ever had sleep paralysis before?
Yes.
I tell you, it's one of the strangest, most fascinating, yet horrifying things that you could experience.
Fascinating, no. Annoying, yes. Scary, definitely.
Your senses and awareness are intact, but you still feel as though you're in this half-asleep, half-awake state.
Because you are,
I've heard stories of this long before it happened to me. I've only experienced it once. I was in college. I was going through an incredibly tough time in my life. I was insanely stressed during finals week. I wasn't getting much sleep.
Screw college.
It must have been the night before my last final.
So I'm just trying to block out the light behind me, that's why I'm moving my head weird.
For bio. I don't remember at what point I decided to finally call it. I just remember it all becoming a blur, then blackness. Next thing I remember,
that's usually what happens when you sleep.
In my bed. But there was this weird haziness in my awareness. Like I was awake, but I felt weaker. When I tried to move, I couldn't. I could only move my eyes to look around the dark room. At one point, when I guess I was looking to one side of the room, I looked back to the center, and there was this woman standing dead center in the room, facing the bed.
Oh, that's right, I forgot he puts images and stuff in the video. It gives you the creeps! That's a really dark room over there, I don't like that. Talking about the room across the hall, I can see it, it's really dark.
I couldn't feel it. She got eye to eye with
me.
I could see my mother's face. She tried to say Mom again.
Screw you!
But I was stuck in my own body. She stood back up and walked to the doorway before disappearing into the house. I lay there, unable to move, maybe another 10 to 20 seconds before my vision suddenly became more clear. I was able to think more clearly as well. I was able to sit up. I jumped out of the bed, screaming Mom over and over. I ran to the bedroom hallway, yelling her name. The door opened down the hall, and someone came to hug me. But it wasn't my mom. It was my dad.
Okay. Don't phrase it like that. You freaked me out for a second. That was just the first story? Oh god, I hate... How many stories was it? I have the computer up here so I can look at how many... Oh god, it's 5 stories. Oh, it's only 11 minutes long. Okay, I should be fine then.
World where things can just make no sense.
Oh, that's our world, alright.
This transcends into the quote-unquote real world. You'll see what I mean in a minute. I was in REM sleep having this bizarre nightmare about being followed by some weird creature in the middle of the woods. The dream became fuzzy though, and I kind of woke up from it.
Bigfoot.
I say kind of, while I was out of the dream
big fuzzy creature through the woods. It's either Bigfoot or a bear. Probably a bear.
I started hearing this faint, weird noise. It was this indescribable, robotic, yet alive type sound. It started light and soft.
Oh, I hate the extra things he adds.
I noticed it was getting slightly louder.
Oh, stop.
I felt like the sound was getting closer.
Great, I'm closing the door. That's really giving me the creeps.
To scream, but I couldn't. Then my eyes locked onto the closet door, specifically the crack in the closet door, which I never leave open ever. There was this distorted face of a man looking between the crack, with with this unhumanly large open-mouthed smile, and every time I heard the noise,
Hey, wait a minute.
the closet and the face would get.
You can't do that. That's a video game. You can't use that image. It's not allowed. No, 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 no. That's FNAF 4. I know that closet. I recognize the positioning and even the design of the closet. That's FNAF 4. You can't use a video game image in your real life videos. That's not very good.
Closer until the closet door slammed shut and everything went silent.
So it's footage he's using from the game.
Shortly after that, and the first thing I did, even though I was 24 years old, was run to my parents' room to get my dad to check the closet with me. There was nothing in the closet though, or the rest of my room. My dad seemed pretty confident that what I just experienced was sleep paralysis, and that he had experienced it once as well. Didn't make me feel any less disturbed about what I just went through.
Hello?
Many years ago, I had a sleep paralysis experience.
Be right back. No? Somebody there? Nope. Nope. Not like that. Nope. I'm either hearing things or there's a ghost walking around my house. I think it's the first one, but you never know. That was actually kind of frightening though, because I swear I heard like footsteps going from the back door to the front door. No doors open, but I could hear it go like thud, 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 thud. I could be hearing things, but
I knew there was a thing in my closet.
I'm probably fine.
Really evil, but I also knew I was dreaming and I should face my fear. I tried not to look directly at the closet door, but if I moved my eyes, my head would turn away. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't look directly at it. Then I woke up in a cold sweat. At first I felt really relieved that it was over, but very shortly I realized it wasn't a dream, and there was really something in the closet. I was laying on my back and couldn't move. I didn't really hear it, but I could kind of feel the sickening laughter wash over me in waves, emanating from the closet. All of a sudden, the thing throws a human head at me, and it lands on my chest face up. It was this girl I knew in high school. Up to this point, I was kind of holding it together, terrified but not panicked. Well, I lose it now. I can't even scream. All I could do is make these grunting sounds and moaning noises. I'm wriggling and straining, trying to rock from side to side to get it off me, but I can't move. This seemed to last maybe another minute or two.
I'm actually scared. This is scaring me, guys. Like,
it was so traumatic that for weeks I would be scared when I woke up that I wasn't actually awake. Something horrible could happen at any second. It still makes my skin crawl when I think about that laugh. The thing is, I never heard of sleep paralysis or night terrors at that point in my life. I thought I was losing my mind.
also, I do have some night terror stories to tell you after this as well. I'm just gonna clump that in, but with it, but I don't care. Skip it, dear. Story 4. Oh wait, did we already?
I've suffered sleep paralysis a total of 3 times in my life. The first 2 times, it just consisted of me waking up not being able to move my body. The third time was much different though. I had woken up very early morning, probably like between 5 and 6 a.m., when the sun was just starting to come up. There was light in the room, but barely any. I tried to move, but I had that unfortunately familiar feeling of paralysis, helplessness. My eyes fixated on the
Utter
wall.
bullshit
Nothing
from
I
your
could
body. That's what that is.
Then suddenly, I heard heavy footsteps coming up the stairs of my bedroom. It was my brother, followed by my sister, dad, and mom. They were all sobbing hysterically, and they all seemed to be at least a foot taller. It was unnerving. The 4 of them approached my bed, then stopped at the bedside, towering over me, all 4 of them crying.
Stop.
I wanted to cry for
Get
help.
the image
Just yell at them
out
to
of
stop
here.
because they were scaring
Ah.
me. Their heights, they looked like they were near to hitting the ceiling.
Are those moving?
Then, just as quickly as they entered, all 4 of them
They're
turned
moving?
and walked back
No,
down
it's
the
not.
stairs.
Is that moving? I can't tell.
I
Are they
could move
moving?
again. So
God,
I
they're
ran down
moving.
the stairs to follow them, but they weren't in the outside area. I went to each of their rooms one at a time. All 4 of them were fast asleep. My heart was racing because the most surreal, unnerving thing just happened to me. I had to lean on the wall to gather my thoughts for a second, breathing heavily. Falling back asleep was futile the rest of the night. I lay awake until the sun was fully up. A few days later, I was struck by a speeding car when crossing the road with friends and ended up with 3 broken bones and a fractured thigh bone. I was
Ouch.
hospitalized for
What does
a
that
week,
have to do with this?
and at one point, all 4 of my family members stood next to my hospital bed, looking down at me, my mom being emotional and crying. It was
Okay.
almost the same image from my sleep paralysis.
Oh, don't.
But if I were,
There's no
I would
connection.
100%
That's just a
believe that
crazy
dream was some kind of sign,
coincidence.
or some kind of prediction
Maybe.
of the future. In fact, I just got chills
Dun
writing
dun
that last sentence,
dun.
thinking about it.
Spooky. Yeah, so after the video, I'm gonna share some of my scary stories of me with sleep paralysis,
There
sleepwalking,
was this one time
and
I was out late
night
drinking
terror.
with friends. It was some point in the summer of 2016. We
Oh,
were kind
wow,
of just
that's
walking
so
around
long
town
ago.
and around the neighborhood when one of my friends spotted someone hiding in a bush. He pointed and said, "Look," and we all walked a little closer to get a better look.
Why would you
I
what?
could see what he was talking about, but just barely. It was bizarre, like someone hiding in this bush in front of this house. When we got too close, apparently, this weird, off-putting sound started coming from the bush. So we all screamed and laughed and ran away. We screamed because it was scary, but laughed because at the same time it was bizarrely funny. And there were a lot of us, so...
What
Anyway,
kind of
back to our
sick
house
humor do you
I'm
have?
assuming whoever was in that bush was just messing with people. I fell asleep pretty easily that
I mean,
night since I was drunk. But next thing I remember
I've done
was waking
something
up to the
similar.
near pitch blackness.
Okay, quick little story. One of my friends, when we were on a camping trip, we were all in tents, right? Well, I was in a tent trailer with Hayden, the guy you saw in the Whisper Challenge video. We're all in there. One of them went out to use the washer in the woods, right? Because we didn't have an actual washer. So we just went over to a certain area in the woods and did our business. And, well, one of them was over there. I can't remember who it was, but I snuck up on him in the bushes. When I got there, I went... Wait, what's that I make here? Oh, yeah. And his reaction was, he whipped around and was, and just started hauling ass in the total opposite direction. And since we're like near an open area, right? Like here, we're in the trees. Here's the little area, and then like this huge cutout over here of open area. And he just started booking it for the open area. And once he got out there, he looked around, he was like, freaking out, and I pop up, I'm like, "Hey, friend." He's like, "Oh, you a-hole, you." I deserve that. Anyway, back to the video.
My room. I couldn't look at the clock to see what time it was because I literally couldn't move.
I don't even have a clock in my room.
State.
But
I
not
looked around
including the
room
computer or
with
the
my eyes
tablet
only.
or the
I
Xbox.
started to hear a familiar noise. The noise we heard coming from that bush.
Uh-oh.
And I looked straight in front of me, at the foot of my bed. What I saw was pure nightmare fuel.
Oh, good God!
A floating, grotesque, horrific head of a demonic ghost-like thing.
The hell is that?
I realized it wasn't floating. There was a body, but its body blended in with the blackness of the room. Its mouth hung open, and it just kept making the familiar noise from the bush. It got mere inches from my face before it suddenly just faded away. I was able to let out a scream and move my body. I sat in my bed, panting and heart racing. I flicked on the lamp and checked around my bed.
Oh, yeah.
Was gone.
Check under the
This
bed.
experience seemed so real, like I was awake for it. It wasn't a dream. I told my parents about it the next day, and they agreed with me that it was sleep paralysis, though they had never heard of anyone seeing freaky shit like that before.
Well then, That was an experience. That you can't jump scare me like that in a video where I'm just expecting audio of a scary story. You can't do that. That's not fair. You're not allowed. Like, I am not even kidding. That image of the weird freaky head thing popping out, that I nearly crapped myself when I saw that. Like, because that was just so out of the blue and so quick. The sudden change of scenery from, like, looking at, like, what looked like a bed or something like that, to, like, this demon, like, this drawn-out demon thing, is just so... I don't even know. Anyway, so, I promised some of my own stories here, and, so, for sleep paralysis, I think I had 2 or 3 times I've had that happen. And the first 2 were pretty boring. I just sat there looking like, I can't move anything. Of course I didn't say that because it's in my head, but I just felt it was the weirdest thing. I just couldn't move, and I was just like, oh, this is bizarre. I know what this is, but, oh, I hate it. Right? And then the third time, I'm trying to remember what happened the third time. Oh, now I remember. So I'm laying there in bed, right? And for some reason in my head, I don't know how I fell asleep like this on my bed, but I had my head originally I was like watching something on my tablet and I fell asleep or something, but my head was propped up against the wall, right? So I was looking straight. So I wasn't looking up at the roof or the ceiling. I was looking down my bed towards my feet. I had sleep paralysis. And that alone was already freaky. But then, the scariest shit I've ever seen happened, where I saw 2 hands come up like this. And they were like, I don't remember if it was like white gloves or if it was makeup. But these 2 like bright white hands came up and put their hands down. And then this clown popped his head up and was looking at me, all the while laughing, like this creepy, sinister laugh. Just realized my window's open. And, oh, that's fine. Where was I? Oh yeah, the clown. And as I was sitting there staring at this creepy clown, he didn't even do anything. He just sat there laughing at me, staring, like not breaking eye contact or blinking or anything, just whole time. I was like, after a while, I sat there for like, I don't know how long, but eventually, like, it went from scary to just like plain freaking annoying, where I was just like, okay, this is old. because I must have been sitting there for a while if it started to not like be creaky anymore, because I was just like, okay, piss off. So, what was the other thing? Oh, night terror. Okay, I did have one. No, I had a few of these, but I don't remember exactly what happened in the other ones. The latest one I had, which was quite a few years ago, we thought it was because of the medicine I was taking for seizures I was having, which is total baloney. I wasn't having seizures. There's no proof of it, but for some reason the school thought I was. Yeah, so the actual it was the scariest thing, because I was, for some reason, in my backyard, right? I'm in my backyard, I'm looking around like, the hell am I doing out here at night? Right? And I didn't think anything of it. So as I'm turning around in my dream, I'm walking back to the back door. And I try opening it. It's locked. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess I'm locked outside. And then I was just like, screw it. I'll just go sleep in the trailer. Can't be that bad, right? Because I've slept in the trailer before. So I just thought, okay, whatever. And as I was walking over to the trailer, I look, and there's a little bit of light coming from the porch, because the porch light is on. There's light casting a shadow over basically everything in the backyard, and there's this small strip of light going like across the trailer. and it was illuminating something under the trailer. These two giant red eyes. And this big, creepy, scary, sharp-toothed smile, right? And I admit it didn't click in my head right away. I was like, oh, that's weird. Wait a minute! And then I tried screaming, but nothing came out. Like, I could go... And then this thing started crawling out from underneath whatever the hell it was. And it had, like... It was like a weird... Imagine, like, a really skinny guy, right? Like, really skinny, but he's, like, made of a black smoke. Like a smog type thing. He's made of some kind of gas. And it was like a shadow or whatever. With this big smile. And as he came out, it illuminated these two big No. Was it? No, it was claws. It's two claws on his hands. They were on his thumbs, right? He crawled out, he had like really long, weird fingers, and then these two short thumbs with humongous claws. He crawled out and stood upright, and he stood like as tall as the trailer, and I'm looking up at him, trying to scream, can't scream. And then he reaches down, grabs me, and then takes his thumb claw of his left hand and does this and starts like carving my face or something. It's a little fuzzy. I don't remember all the details, but that's essentially what happened. And as this is happening, right, I get this sick feeling in my stomach and a pain in my chest. And then suddenly, bam, I wake up and I scream. I sit up, I'm looking around, I'm like, oh, there goes my hat. And that was probably the scariest dream I've had. I don't get a whole lot of nightmares or anything like that, so that is probably going to be, for now, the scariest dream I've ever had. Oh, a sleepwalking story. There's actually quite a few of these. Yeah, I'm a bit of a sleepwalking problem. But probably the scariest one was... Now, keep in mind, I don't remember any of these events, right? Like, I don't remember the sleepwalking whatsoever. All I do remember is going to bed, sleeping, and then waking up in the morning. But then, in between that time, other people see me doing these things. So, this one time, apparently, and this was when we were camping. So, we're not out in the woods, thank God. But we were out at a trailer camping area, and we were with a load of different relatives. I somehow managed to get outside, sleepwalk over to one of our relatives' trailer, and was banging on the door trying to get in for whatever reason. I don't remember what my mom said I was saying or whatever. They didn't come to get me. The relative opened the door and escorted me back to the trailer. Now, I don't remember any of this, right? So, it just... And that's probably the freakiest thing about this, because you don't remember any of it, right? You do not... Your brain does not remember any of it because your eyes aren't open, or maybe they are, but your eyes just weren't working or whatever, right? And you don't remember any of it. But then the other people see it and know what happened, and they have to try and explain it to you, and you just can't wrap your mind around it, right? Thank goodness I went to a relative's trailer, not some creep trailer. Heaven forbid what could have happened. So, this is why it's good to lock your doors. Not only to keep strangers out, but to keep the idiots who sleepwalk in your house inside. Support me on Patreon, go check out my Discord, and want to read a book, go to my Wattpad. Got quite a few books going, which is one of the reasons why I haven't really uploaded. Sorry. I'm trying to get into a thing, but anyway. See you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.